Hello class, today we're going to look at graphing linear inequalities. I'm in the study plan, chapter 3, section 5, number 15. So we have an inequality, 5x plus 3y is greater than negative 15, and we want to graph it. So you have some options. You can use the slope-intercept form, which is finding the intercept, finding the slope, plotting your 2 points. Or you can use the x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at putting this into the proper form and getting it graphed. So I am going to use the slope-intercept form. Notice that we do have an inequality symbol instead of an equal sign, but we can still identify the slope, we can still identify the y-intercept. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this for the y by itself. The first thing I'm going to do is move the 5x over. And we're going to subtract it over since it was a positive. Same thing we did with equations. Those are going to cancel, leaving me with 3y is greater than negative 5x minus 15. Last thing I need to do is divide by 3. And this is going to give me y. I divided by a positive 3, so I don't have to flip the inequality, so I keep the greater than symbol. The negative 5 over 3 doesn't reduce, so I'm just going to leave that. Negative 15 over 3 does reduce as a minus 5. Okay, so we have it in the slope-intercept form. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between graphing inequalities and equations. Now, if we have a greater than or a less than symbol, we want to use a dash symbol because we're not going to include any of the values on the line. So that's how we do that, by doing the dash line when we connect the dots. If we have a greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, we want a solid line because we do want to include all those values all along that line. And another little shortcut that you can use if you put it into the slope-intercept form is the greater than symbol would tell you to shade above the line. The less than symbol will tell you to shade below the line. So that's a little bit of a shortcut. You don't have to check a point or anything as long as you did everything correctly and you use your final answer that's in the slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and graph this. Just like before, the y-intercept is this back value or the b value. So I'm going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my first point. Now the second point, I'm going to use the slope to find that value. So remember, you have some options. This can be negative 5 over 3 or 5 over negative 3. So both of these will produce another point on your line. So let's start with the first one. Negative 5 over 3 means down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then right 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a second point. Or we could have used 5 over negative 3, and all that means is the 5 on top is telling me go from the slope, go up 5, and then the negative 3 is left 3. So you can see how it's still going to be along that same line. Okay. To determine if it's a solid or dashed line, again, we look at the inequality symbol. It is a greater than, so that tells me that it should be a dashed line, and you'll have that option in Math Excel. We'll look at that in just a second. And then the greater than tells me above, and this could also be a greater or equal to, and this one could be a less than or equal to. Okay, those will mean the same thing. So above my line, notice to the right is above. This would be going below my line. So I'm going to shade above my line. And this is the graph of our inequality. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to Math Excel, and we're going to try to reproduce the same thing. So let's slide over to Math Excel. Okay, so we've put this back into the slope-intercept form. Notice I just hit the magnifying. I'm going to maximize that all the way out just to make sure there isn't any mistakes. So I want to use a dashed line for this. So I'm going to go ahead and select the dashed line first. We're going to do a linear inequality, so we're going to select that. Now I want to pick my 2 points. So my first point we said, remember, was 0, -5 for the y-intercept, so that's going to be my first point. Now I have a choice of using either of the other 2 points. So we had down 5 and right 3. Okay, that gives me another point. Notice that I can't move the marker. Well, I guess if we selected this, notice that we also are going through that point that is up 5, left 3. So it gives us that point as well. Now for the shading, we're going to use the bucket here. Click that. And we want to shade above. So we just need to click above the line. And notice that it shaded it all in for us. Be careful on not to click the shading more than once. Now we want to go ahead and save that. So it saves it to our problem, check the answer, and well done. Okay, so that's graphing a linear inequality, very similar to the equations, except you need to be careful that either you have a solid or dashed line, that's going to be extra, and then you need to figure out if you're going to have shading above or below. I hope it was helpful.